All right. Esper Goryo. So this is a interactive control-ish deck in Modern that looks to do something that's pseudo-unfair by putting Obzedat into play off the back of Goryo's Vengeance. We also play Lingering Souls, as well as a Gifts Ungiven package for Unburial Rites with Elesh, Norn, and Gristlebrand, as well as Iona out of the sideboard. So let's just dive in here, shall we? It's a deck that gets to play some copies of Leyline of the Void. We have 4 copies of Discovery in here, which is not a card I've played in this archetype before. It's been printed in the set since the last time we played it, so I'm interested to see how this card feels. This, while 2 mana for a cantrip is a little bit, the fact that, like, this could bin Lingering Souls or, like, Obzedats or Grizzlebrands we want in the bin anyways has some upside. Maybe Nyan. So, like, our deck is a graveyard combo deck to a degree, but we also can just, like, cast our spells. So, like, one of the major upsides to playing Obzedat as the thing your Goryo's Vengeancing back is just, like, 5 mana Obzedat is very castable. Yeah, Leagues got reset today, Duff Fangirl. This is a deck that got me to watch your content in the first place. Happy to see you grow so much since then. Put these towards Esper control and standard. Will do, ASIM. Thank you for the biddies. So the one main deck Duress, it's a good question. There is 1 Duress in my main deck, and the reason for that is because you can Gifts Ungiven for Duress, Inquisition, Thoughtseize, Snapcaster Mage, and get 2 discard spells basically off your Gifts Ungiven. Speaking of Leyline of the Void, I built Narset Cannon and Paper for fun. I ran hotter than the sun at the first tournament and went 3-1. Modern is super fair and balanced. That's great meta type. Fantastical. It's been too long since we played a filter land. Yep, no damping spheres in this one. No damping spheres here. Thoughtseize is a good pickup here. It's going to let us take their Crackling Drake before they play it, which is great. Hopefully they don't find another piece of removal and we get to untap with this Jace to get some value going. Instead of me telling you why I did what I did, can you explain to me why I should make your decision? Instead of saying, Jeff, why didn't you do this? Say, Jeff, I think you should do this because, and then explain yourself. Maybe we can have a discussion. I took Lightning Bolt because it would kill Jace Vryn's Prodigy, and I wanted to get to untap with my Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Now do I take double Manamorphose because they've got Pyromancer's Ascension in play? That's probably not unreasonable. Just like draw some removal spells for the other things. Their hand's a little bit stranded without these. Definitely want to hit my 4th land drop here. Probably don't hit my 5th land drop too, honestly. To know if we hit removal? Maybe. I could have actually played... if I would have looted first, I could have played the fetch land, and then I would have been able to... flip him over right away, and, like, flash back a discard spell. Which, we had Goryo's Vengeance here, which is pretty good. I think I'm gonna hold on to this Jace. Get to Thoughtseize their Crackling Drake here. The problem is, I'm probably not going to beat this this Pyromancer's Ascension. If they break off here for a hot second, we could be okay. I finished putting together Grishelbrand yesterday and played a game with my wife. Now she's not talking to me. Grishelbrand is not a good deck for making friends. Yeah, we're probably dead. I don't think we're going to beat Active Ascension. Need them to, like, never draw another instant or sorcery for the rest of the game. Which I guess is theoretically possible. Okay. That is technically a way in which we can take that off the table. That is technically a way we could take that off the table. So if they just draw, either draw like lands and creatures the next like 3 to 4 turns. Any cantrip here probably puts the game away in their favor. That's a land. Okie doke. Okie doke. Bad modern decks that are basically casual decks are good for making friends. What's the reason for playing the second Jace? Can't bolt kill them. Well, I played the second Jace so I could do the line I just did here. Oh, you know what? Jace can flash back the dispersal half of this, right? So I'm gonna discovery looking to find my 5th land here. And then if they brick next turn, I get to... They brick next turn, I get to get rid of this. So hopefully they like play a thing in the ice or like Arclight. I don't want them to play. Actually, I need them to draw a land, right? I need them to draw like be really unlucky and draw a land. Because if they play any creatures, they get to bounce the creature instead of the Ascension. Oh, that's brutal. Woof. Punished. Super punished. Oh. So if I had just trusted that the land was on top, we'd have gotten there. Yeah, angry pop would be a good draw for sure. They could draw a land and we could draw another dispersal. We do have 3 of those in our deck. Even with them having a card in hand, just like hitting dispersal would be good here because it would allow us to just like take this off the table and reset the counters on it. Stand up for a bit. I've been sitting this whole stream basically. Yep. Alright. I assume that means we're basically dead. Kill me. Do I want Disenchant? They might have Rest in Peace postboard too, so Disenchant's probably fine. Do I even want Leyline? Like, Leyline, I guess they have Ascension too, but like, they have Drakes and Thing in the Ice that makes Leyline like pretty embarrassing. I don't really know what I want to cut. Like, I want my discard spells, I want my removal spells. I don't think they're gonna make any changes in any formats. Yeah, most people don't like go look for like feedback from people who played the decks. They just copy and paste the deck list from the top 8. Is it RIP? No, they had Stony Silence, right? It was Stony Silence that they had. There's a white splash in some of these decks. It's Stony Silence, not RIP, right? His hand needs a black source, but I've got a bunch of looks at a black source, so let's give it a try. Get our Jace down here. If this one dies, we can play another right away. I like that the new Breach art just like has Emrakul on it. That's like the card most people breach anyways. Doing it on stream? I don't know, I guess. That's something useful? I guess some people might be interested in that. I think I wanted to rest them to try and prevent these Arclights from coming back next turn. Well, the Arclights are likely coming back next turn. Maybe cutting Elesh was wrong, because Elesh does keep the Arclights off the table, which is meaningful. I'm gonna bin both of these, not really interested in either. Lets me flip my Jace over next turn. I forgot to check for it last night, actually. We dropped by the house for a hot second, but the kids were waiting in the car, so we just grabbed some stuff really quick and left. I don't have double black Burgle. The Phoenix deck is putting up better numbers than Splinter Twin was putting up when Splinter Twin was banned. Just saying. The facts are out there. So maybe maybe we should ban the Phoenix deck or do the smart thing and unban Splinter Twin. You know, one of those two things should likely happen. Y'all can be the judge of which one, but one of those two things should likely happen. I think I'm gonna play this other Jace back out. I agree that Jace is ruining Modern. It's completely unreasonable. Do I plan on playing it tomorrow? I plan on playing the top 6 to 7 decks listed in the queue tomorrow. If the Bant Flash deck falls under that category, then yes, it'll get played tomorrow. I plan to take the queue and play it from the top down. I think I want to Gifts Ungiven and get Iona into play here. Name Red, probably. I guess if I name Red, they can Thing in the Ice me, but I have Fatal Push for that. Legacy will be the league after this one. This is match 1, game 3, though, right? Match 1, game 2, sorry. You know what my favorite thing about Magic is? It's when people who are salty little babies complain about the deck that beats them being low IQ and easy to play. Wah, my bad clunky deck can't beat Mono Red. Mono Red's low IQ, no skill. Wah, I didn't want to put interaction in my Modern deck and Splinter Twin killed me because I didn't have any interaction. I just wanted to be a linear idiot. Wah. Oh, Magic players. Maybe if you played better decks and built them correctly and had a little bit of respect for things, you wouldn't have to be such salty little children. Tron! Humans is low skill. What deck do you dislike? That's the low skill deck. Everything is low skill, low IQ. You like control, aggro's low skill, low IQ. You like aggro, hate Teferi control, low IQ, miserable Magic. Everything that I perfectly don't like has to suck and be low IQ. Because obviously, whatever Magic the Gathering deck I enjoy playing, that's the Gentleman's Magic the Gathering deck. It's for the esteemed players, for people who are respectable. Let people like things. It's okay. It's okay. I agree, Larinax. I agree. Good decks are often easy to play because they're good. Everybody thinks their deck is harder to play than it actually is, because if the deck you like playing is hard to play, and you win with it, that means you have to be good at Magic. That's like when PV wrote that article about ranking decks and how difficult they were to play in Modern. Everybody wanted their deck to be hard to play, because if their deck was hard to play, it had to mean they were smart. Alright, so I burned... I think I'm just supposed to put this on blue, right? I don't actually know. Do I name blue or do I name red with this? I'm gonna get surgical extracted and it just doesn't matter. Hopefully I get surgical extracted and then I don't have to make a decision. Gut shot me in response, yep. Yeah, the problem is, like, most of their deck is blue, right? So, like, I locked them out of doing a lot of stuff, but they also have a Faithless Looting in their bin. I think I'm supposed to name red because there's a Faithless Looting in their bin. The problem is, if they, like, play Thing in the Ice and have a bunch of blue cantrips, I could get into some trouble. Yeah, like, it could be in a little bit of trouble regardless of which way this goes. It's strange that I always win games of Magic because of my superior skills, and I've only ever lost because my opponents were no skill luck sacks that I drew bad and such. Ain't that the truth, Shannon? Haven't we all heard that song and dance with people before? When I win, it's because I'm excellent at Magic. When I lose, it's because I'm incredibly unlucky. Oh, smash. I'm playing at least the front half of this Souls. I think we're probably dead if this flips regardless, so might just go. I think I'm just gonna go all in here. Spell Pierce. I guess it doesn't play around Spell Pierce. They can double Pierce. Hopefully they just have a bunch of red cards in their hand. The problem is they find another blue cantrip. They're pretty likely to cantrip into another one because of the Ascension. Well, removal spell was lethal there. We did not find it, alas. We'll have a lethal attack next turn, however. We played Teferi Pool once upon a time. It went as badly as I expected it to go. And it's not something we'll be playing again for less than a large amount of money. Alright, sweet. I feel like we kind of got away with something there. They're leaving the Ascensions in. I think I should have played the land. You are correct. I should have played the land. I think I want the Ley Lines, the Void. How do we feel about these Ley Lines of the Void? I feel like I'm on board for them, but I'm not actually sure what I want to cut. Like, Collective Brutality is an easy cut. What else do I actually want to do? We did it! Mr. Manad, thank you for the half a year. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Do I want the Elesh? Yeah, maybe I do want the Elesh. I don't know. Like, Iona definitely ended up working out there much better than Elesh. Maybe I just, like, want both. Both probably isn't unreasonable. I mean, I have 3 paths and 3 fatal pushes, and, like, Jace to flash them back. I just don't really know anything that I want to cut, and, like, there's definitely going to be games where, like, Leyline doesn't really have a text box. It's fine. Not amazing, but fine. Yeah, maybe I'm just supposed to trim the cantrips. I don't know. Finding our right answers is pretty important. And, like, the thing is, like, Leyline doesn't even fully shut off Arclight or Faithless Looting, right? Because these are cards that still have a text box. They're not at their full text box, but they still have an impact on the game, even if you have Leyline of the Void in play. That was an excellent draw. It means I take a little bit less damage from my mana here, which is always nice. So, because I have this Goryo's Vengeance, I'm actually going to take the Thought Scour rather than the Lightning Bolt, because my opponent's hand doesn't really do anything right now. Juju Gazby, thank you for the 32 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for your constant support here. Yeah, Magic Online tends to be a little bit more brutal and fast than Modern at most people's local game stores, because a lot of local game stores aren't really playing Modern. They're playing a casual format with a Modern ban list. And, like, casual Magic's really sweet, but, like, when it's... Modern's very different when it's competitive and it's all Storm and Phoenixes and Tron and Burn and stuff like that. That's just, like, really brutal and quick. I'm going to go ahead and make them discard a Lightning Bolt here. I agree. There's a reason why casual Magic is the most popular format Magic the Gathering has. It's what's kept the game alive for 25 years. He's dead, Jim. So they have Island, Arclight, and then 2 cards I don't know. I guess let's just play another Jace out. If I Goryo's Vengeance this Jace, I don't yet have enough cards in my discard pile to flip him right away, so I won't get to keep him. The way Goryo's Vengeance interacts with Jace Vryn's Prodigy, if you Goryo's Vengeance back the Jace and then transform him into the Planeswalker, you get to keep the Planeswalker. Would it be a fair assessment that Legacy is harder to play than Standard? No, I don't think so, Drexar. If Legacy was more skill-intensive or harder than Standard, there would be a large deviation, I think, in the win rates of top players playing Legacy versus playing Standard, and that's just not shown to be the case over Grand Prix and stuff like that we have data for. I think, and this is the thing that I think a lot of people fail to recognize when they're talking about different Magic formats, is that different Magic formats are difficult in different ways. So, Modern requires you to leverage game knowledge and play skill in a different way than Standard requires you to leverage knowledge, and Legacy requires you to leverage knowledge. Legacy tends to be more sequencing decision based because there's a lot of cheap spells. Modern, because modern games are so brutal and fast on average, tend to be more focused around your mulliganing decisions. If you're someone who mulligans well and mulligans aggressively, you're probably going to do better in Modern on average, because Modern games are so brutal and fast, you have less time to recover or draw more meaningful cards, so your starting hand is really important in Modern. I'm going to go ahead and flashback Thoughtseize using my Darkslick Shores. Then we'll have Path to Exile here. I'm going to grab that. I'm going to put this fetch land into play here. Get to go ahead and crack that, grab a thing. We'll path their Arclight Phoenix here next turn. I mean, Legacy just puts the variants in different places. If you look up MTG ELO Project, I believe it's mtgelопроject.com, but if you just Google MTG ELO Project, you'll be able to find win rates from professional Magic players. You can sort by format and stuff on there, and you'll see that the top win rates of good Magic players with reasonable sample sizes tends to be very similar between all of the formats. So I think trying to make arguments about one format being more skill intensive or less skill intensive than the other is based more in feelings than facts. Not every deck that I play ends up on my website. They do, however, all end up on my YouTube channel. So if you look on my YouTube channel, you'll find all the videos that I've ever played up there, along with a deck list in the video description. So I get to keep this Jace here. because he's transformed into a Planeswalker. Now I'm going to go to Discovery and dig for some cards here. My feelings are facts. You'd think that's the case in the old US of A these days, but unfortunately it's not. Fortunately, it's probably fortunately it's not, right? Right, I binned an Unburial Rites there, and I have an Iona in my bin, so we're potentially going to put a big scary into play that locks them out of playing stuff. Worth splicing? No, I don't think so. I think Gifts Ungiven or finding the Unburial Rites naturally is a much higher upside. Yeah, and people just have, like, varying degrees of previous experience to do things, right? So I get to go ahead and Jace, downtick. Wait, what? They just attacked me? That seems good for me. So I'm going to go ahead and Unburial Rites. I'm Unburial Ritesing the Iona before I flash back the Path to Exile, because if they have Spell Pierce in their hand, I don't want this to get Spell Pierced. I think I'm actually going to name blue with this, because I'm not close enough. Like, 2 of their Lightning Bolts are in their bin already, and like they don't have an Ascension in play right now. So I think naming blue is correct here. Someone whose LGS is in a fairly well location. F&M here is full of tiered decks like humans and blue-white. Sure, like, obviously, not the things that I make rough generalizations about, there's going to be exceptions to those things in lots of places around the world. So when I say generally speaking or often, that doesn't mean this is always true, and there's going to be plenty of examples to the contrary of that. And I believe you if you say your deck, your F&M is mostly tiered decks. But I also think it's safe to say that that's not the norm. This is a pretty good turn. Pretty good turn. Daddy's home, chat, and he's angry. I don't know that we needed Obzedat to win this game, but he certainly helps win it faster. Yeah, the downtick my Jace to kill him to target the Goryo's Vengeance to then bring back the same Jace is such a great line. You always feel smart when you're doing it. You're just like, this is the smart thin line. You can submit decks using this form on my website, and I will let you know. You can put on there what you plan to send, and I'll let you know if I normally want more because something looks medium. This is going to be another 2-hour league. I don't know that we're going to get to 4 decks tonight. Might only do 3. I don't want to go super late. Although I guess I'm starting late tomorrow. Maybe I can go late tonight because I'm starting late tomorrow. I can't start till 10 a.m. tomorrow because that's when the arena update goes live. Is this a good 75? I have no idea. The discoveries were pretty good there. It's definitely a card I haven't played in this archetype before. Let's chill for a hot second, shall we? How we doing, folks? Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody wherever you're out in the world. Thanks for dropping in here today. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I am a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, 50 hours a week. We play nothing but constructed Magic on this channel. We play Standard, or we play Modern and Legacy on Magic the Gathering Online like we are doing today. We also play a ton of Standard, Best of 3 on Magic Arena. If you find yourself enjoying my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their wonderful support. Past subscribing, you can also support my stuff by checking out some of my wonderful sponsors. Harry's Razors would love to help you get that close, clean shave using code Jeff Hoagland at bit.ly/HoogleShave. You can save $5 on your brand new starter kit with them. HurlyBurlyStudio.com does professional Magic the Gathering altars. Using code Jeff10, you can save 10% on your orders of full art border extensions as well as complete art replacements. You can find a great portfolio of her stuff on the website. Cardsphere.com will love to help you turn your cards into the cards directly to the players. There's no haggling, and they just take 1% fee off the top. And of course, MTGO Traders would love to be your source for all your Magic the Gathering online cards. Using code Hoagland PayPal at checkout with them, you can save 8% on all of your singles orders there. I won on a scratch-it ticket that was given to me and couldn't think of a better thing to put it towards. Hopefully next month we'll be back to 2-3. What's going on, Average Bloom? Thank you for the 2/3 of you. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. Hope you're having a good start to your year. This hand's fine. Not amazing, but fine. We get to play a turn 1 discard spell. We got a removal spell. We've got a cantrip. What's going on, Hurley? Oh, sweet. We have 1 target for Duress here. We are going to get Tide Hollow Sculler next turn. Probably lose our path to Exile. They have Shalai. That's interesting. Their deck's got a lot. Their deck has a lot of clunk in the trunk. What is the donation for just to have a classy pipe and monocle? Costumes start at the cost of the costume plus probably $100 bucks at least. Yep, yeah. Hurly Burly Plays is the Altarist for Hurly Burly Studios. Goryo's Vengeance is not a terrible draw, especially if I can floop a Obzedat or something into my bin here with the Discovery. I think I'm going bottoms up here because I have another cantrip here to help me find lands, and I'd really like to find some removal spells or a discard spell to take this Thought-Knot Seer before it happens. Sounds good, Dad Confidant. Good luck at your interview. How surprised are we that they're jamming inefficient 4-drops? Not at all. Lots of people do that in Modern. That's why they love this format. Because some amount of the time, they run into people like us who are also jamming lots of inefficient cards. So, Inquisition can't take Shalai or Thoughtseize. It's really unfortunate. Or sorry, Shalai or Thought-Knot Seer, not Thoughtseize. Obviously, Inquisition can take Thoughtseize. Things are not looking good for our hero, chat. Things are not looking good for our hero. If you're on the desktop, Philosophical Psycho, you can tap on the stream info, and it should tell you your delay. Maybe they won't hit a 4th land, which would be ideal for us. Man, remember that time the Gristlebrand was like 1 card down? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Lingering Souls. Interesting. So, Ghost Dad's, like, not bad here. Like, if they blink him to get past him, he drains them. So, like, that's not the worst. Dad's not going to punch the clock. He's going to hang out. He's not always an absentee father. The mobile app usually has a pretty rough delay on it. So are we like... I'm so confused. Oh, they have a Wasteland Strangler. That's fine, I have Goryo's Vengeance. I was like, what is this attack? I was like trying to process like what this attack means. This is actually really good for us because it puts the Path to Exile in my bin. So I get to Goryo's Vengeance Dad and then snap Path their other thing. So I have to attack with this, because otherwise Goryo, because I have to exile this anyway, so I might as well attack. This is a very sweet feel smart deck, I agree. So their hand right now is Thought-Knot Seer plus Shalai. So I'm obligated to snap path the Displacer now, because otherwise they're going to get to process my Obzedat next turn in response to me playing the Snapcaster Mage. Hey, I beat Karma. Thank you very much for the brand new tier 3 sub. I really appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. So Dad has to punch the clock this turn, so that way he doesn't go away forever. The fact that I am at... So when you stack these triggers, you want to stack it so that Goryo's Vengeance trigger goes on the stack first. So that way Obzedat exiles himself instead of Goryo's Vengeance exiling him. So even if they have a removal spell here, we're only taking 7. So Temple isn't that big of a deal because they still can't double spell this turn. I think I'm going to attack with Obzedat, play second Obzedat if they don't take him away. They might take him away here. Yeah. Cut that light out. What are your thoughts on Skewer the Critics for burn? I'm not convinced that it's better than Rift Bolt. Maybe it is, but I'm not sure. This is a pretty easy block here. Take 4, go to 4. Ghost Dad comes back to town. Go to 6. Oh, they have Flashback Lingering Souls. That's pretty good. Puts us dead on board because of the Ghost Quarter. Yeah, I guess we're dead, right? If they play correctly, we are dead. They have two Ghost Quarters to kill our creature land. So if they play their cards correctly, we are dead on board. Wait, what? I don't know that I have any outs. I have Lingering Souls. I could draw Lingering Souls. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Nobody. You didn't kill me. I killed me, opponent. Get out of here. Alright. Duress is pretty bad here. Timely Reinforcement seems fine. Is this an Iona matchup? What do we think's better, Iona or Grizzly Bees? Grizzly Bees is probably better than Iona, huh? Yeah, let's do this. Pretty minimal. I think this match is probably okay for us in average. Needed a little bit more removal. His hand doesn't do anything, right? Yeah, Elesh is very good in this matchup for sure. His hand's like not great, but I think it's a keep. What do you think about Artifact's flop? I think Artifact puts variance in incredibly frustrating and silly places. Discovery's a great draw. I think I'm supposed to bin both of these. I guess I can keep this and, like, escalate Brutality, ditch the Obzedat next turn, and then Goryo's Vengeance him back the turn after that. Hoping to not get Thaliad, I guess, because I ditched the land. Leonin Orbiter's fine. I can check for Path to Exile here as well. Well, rip us. That's, yep. Rest in peace is the reason why to not discard the Elesh Norn there. Hopefully they cast Eldrazi Displacer for this turn. Yikes. Hoping to draw a Jace Vryn's Prodigy. Limited is also best of one, and I never stream Limited on this channel. There's a lot of great people that do a lot of good Limited stuff. I am not one of them. I also don't enjoy playing Limited, so I don't play it. Constructed is my favorite part of playing Magic the Gathering. Why do we gotta go to the next game? Their deck is like full of terrible cards, and like we have a Jace Vryn's Prodigy here. No, they invited everybody, Pat the Beast. Their list of streamers for that event is like 300 people. Oh, that's awkward because now I have to fetch Shock to kill this in response. I really wanted the Jace Vryn's Prodigy, but not enough to lose my Fatal Push here. Yeah, if it was like something exclusive that would like actually get me extra exposure, I probably would have sucked it up and played best of one, but like to just like playing a best of one thing while like literally every other person who streams is going to be streaming. So like it's like do I be miserable and also not get any extra exposure? So like if we're not getting any extra benefit out of it, I'm not going to play a format I don't like. Displacer is very good against our creature tokens. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move along with our lives now. Too many bricks. Too many bricks. We're not 0% here, but we're low enough that it's like not worth continuing. Alright, well, 5 ended up being pretty good. Take a look here, what we got going on. Infect. They've got 2 threats, so we'll go take your Glistener Elf, take your Blighted Agent. Hope to leave you stranded for a hot second. Dang it. It was an incredibly good draw. This is a threat that I need to draw a removal spell to deal with now. So Jace plus the Discovery will hopefully help us dig to a source. Wait to take Thinkmoth off the table. Of course they hit their blue source for Twisted Image too. That's so brutal. And like now they have a bunch of protection spells up too. They have Vines plus Blossoming Defense here. Opponent playing conservative here. I like this from their part. Like, no reason for them to run into, like, a Fatal Push or a Path with their only threat. I believe we will get to play with the new cards on Magic Online on Friday, technically, but I don't plan to do more Modern or Legacy until next week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday are gonna be all Magic Arena with new Standard stuff. Alright, well, if they go for it here, we're dead. They have Groundswell, so they could kill us if they want. They were conservative last turn, so maybe they're going to be conservative again here. I think it's better to play Jace first. Because getting him flipped and getting to cast the discard spell is a pretty big deal. I'll take your Groundswell. They have 3 protection spells. We're very dead. Standard content is most popular when the format is very new. Although standard content in general has just been super popular with the advent of Arena and the format being good right now. I actually just want to trim a couple of these because they're kind of filler. Like all the rest of the cards in my deck are like, this matchup should theoretically be okay for us. We've got like Lingering Souls and Elesh Norn. The format being good is important to Punishing Waterfalls, but like Arena also helps. Like even when Standard was bad last season, like people like Nox had lots of viewers on Arena just because like the application's good. That's fine. Discard spell into Jace plus removal spell. Yeah, I feel like people got so used to Standard being bad for so long that they like, a lot of people forgot the fact that like, Standard was Magic's best format for a very, very long time and it was incredibly popular. Taking their Twisted Image since I have a Jace here. Yeah, this current Standard format is very similar to Modern without the super fast decks. Ooh, Noble Hierarch first, sure. Kind of surprised they didn't lead on Glistener Elf here since they have 2 Glistener Elves. Lingering Souls, going to be very good here. Give us a lot of blockers. Lets us double block Glistener Elf even with Exalted. Let's loot here to start. See where we end up at. It's pretty good. Huh. I think I'm just going to let this Spell Pierce resolve, and then Fatal push this Glistener Elf. Yes, that is exactly what I plan to do, Bus Driver. I plan to use every common and uncommon wild card that I currently have, and then before I crack my booster packs, I plan to open like 200 packs tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and Path to Exile at end of turn here. They'll stop it, and then we'll flip Jace and flashback Fatal Push. So flashback Fatal Push on Glistener Elf. Yeah, is it? I've got like 35 decks in the queue already for the new standard format. We're gonna start playing them tomorrow morning. The set releases for the general public on Arena starting at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I tweeted it. It's pinned in the subs Discord, Savage Rucker. If you go to the MTG Arena channel, there's a Google Doc that's pinned. I'm going to go ahead and double block here. This makes them use the Mutagenic Growth in their hand. Or some other pump spell. I think I'm okay with that. The Magic Arena channel on the subs Discord. Okay. Goryo's gets back to Jace. You think crafting all the Shocklands? No, you shouldn't. You probably shouldn't craft anything until after you open your packs. You should almost always open your packs first. The only reason I'm crafting all the commons and uncommons is because I'm literally going to craft all of them. Like every single one. I might be short. I think someone said you need like 400 comments. Maybe I'll be a little bit short on those, but yeah, probably Eusebus. Probably. Well, I guess you can't open commons and uncommons that you already have. I don't actually know. I'm unsure. The 5th card thing goes live tomorrow. The whole update happens at once tomorrow. Hey, Dystopia. Thank you for the 8-month resub. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. So I'm going to go ahead and block the Dryad Arbor here to save myself 6 points of damage. And then before combat damage happens, I'm going to go ahead and flip my Jace Fringe Prodigy over. My opponent understands what's happening and is conceding. What's going on, Gyarados? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with our sideboarded here. Just going to click a bit. That hand's a good example of why we don't play 4 Goryo's Vengeance in this deck. I believe they said that there's not going to be a retroactive fix for people that have already opened the vault. I don't have a source for that offhand, but I believe I saw someone say that. Black source. Heyo. Heyo. I'm gonna go ahead and push this dork right off a cliff here. Kick it. And then next turn we can Thoughtseize plus Path to Exile if they play a threat. If they don't play a threat, I'll play Jace. You can find my schedule, which includes which formats I plan to play on which days on my website here. It always stays up to date. I'll be playing Standard tomorrow, Thursday, and... tomorrow is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Maybe Sunday too. Depends on how the weekend viewer numbers are. Well, we didn't get Twisted Image, so success 1. Smart's the opponent's getting in their hit now with the Pendelhaven while I'm tapped out. If we get our next couple of land drops in a row, that would be ideal, so that way we can play this Gifts Ungiven and get an Elesh Norn into play. Pretty unfortunate here missing. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize. We did at least hit our second land on time though, so we got that going for us. Blossoming Defense is their only piece of protection here, so let's go ahead and take that away from them. Pass back, have this Path to Exile set to go. So they must have drawn... Wait. We know their last card, their cards are Windswept Heath, right? Yeah, they played the wrong fetch. I was gonna take the hit and like be conservative myself, but like they showed us that they had a different fetch land, exactly. Land, please. Thank you. So if we hit a land next turn, we get to Gifts Ungiven and get Elesh Norn plus Unburial Rites, which Elesh Norn plus Unburial Rites should be lights out in this matchup. Occasionally they have a couple copies of Dismember, but getting both of them together is pretty unlikely before we get to kill them. Sure. I wonder if we'll see them try and go in on the Mutagenic Growth to kill the Jace here. I might just hit him for 3, though. Alright, so... I'm going to end step Goryo's Vengeance the Jace. And a little weird interaction here with Goryo's Vengeance and timing is it doesn't exile until the beginning of the next end step. So if I Goryo's Vengeance right now, this doesn't go away until the end of this next turn. So I can wait and do this. I'm actually going to discard the Dispel here. So that way I can play both halves of this Lingering Soul since I missed my 4th land drop. By the Jace shrinking the Dryad Arbor here, it means it's impossible for this to be a 1-1, which turns off their Pendelhaven, which is nice for us. I didn't loot during the end step because it's strictly worse to loot at the end step while I have 1 less card in my hand, because once I loot, the Jace flipping isn't optional. So I'd much rather loot on my turn after I've drawn my extra card. So that way I get to look at 3 cards and discard 1 instead of looking at 2 cards and discarding 1. Gives me a little bit more information to make my decision with. What's going on, Shannon? It's been a hot second since we played this deck. This is actually the first time we played it with Discovery Dispersal. We're 2-1. See if we can bat 500 here and sneak out the 3-2. Evening Eldorte. Scavengling Ooze. Ramping them up into Bloodbraid Elf for turn sooner is, like, not fantastic, but pretty sure that's what I have to do here. Scavenging Ooze puts a huge damper on our plans. I am too, Beetle. Happy to have the 500 that we have. I think my viewer count today was going to be low regardless of what I was playing, though. Which is another part of the reason why, like, in addition to not being super hot on Best of 1, with this many people streaming, even if I was streaming Arena, the numbers would probably be lower than normal. Because there's a lot of great people streaming right now. More than normal, even. Take my 4th land here, bend the Lingering Souls happily. Are we the only Moto stream in the Magic section? How far do you have to go to find another Moto stream? Does another Moto stream exist? I don't know that it does. All right, I've scrolled far enough. I can't find one. So Scooz is pretty unfortunate. I think I have to Discovery here, digging for another removal spell. Okay. Huh. I think I'm gonna go top here. I'm gonna play the Concealed Courtyard and pass. We'll path this during their end of turn, and then untap, and we can Gifts Ungiven, and then we get a chance to Duress before we Unburial Rite something. So next turn we'll shock in the Watery Grave to Gifts for Unburial Rites plus Gristlebrand. And then we'll be able to Duress before we Unburial Rites the Gristlebrand. That's really unfortunate for us. But it's a big damper in the old plan. I guess I do get to go Swamp, Duress, cast Lingering Souls next turn, so it's not a complete loss. Hopefully they don't have a 3rd Scavenging Ooze here. That would be really bad for us. Just a Tarmogoyf, sure. All right, what are you working with? Their deck has a lot of removal spells in it, so pretty likely this hits. Yep. You can keep the Bolt. Trophy would give me a land, but, like, Trophy kills, like, Obzedat if I draw one, and, like, I'm in range of being able to just, like, hard cast Obzedat, so definitely don't want to give them that option. How long am I streaming today for? I'm going to go a little bit later than normal, because I had to start later than normal. I'm going to do at least one of the 2 Legacy decks that listed. I might do both, depending on how I feel. I believe they knew about both of these lands, so... Deal. I'm just going to take 3 from this Tarmogoyf for now, I think. Use my health total as a bit of a resource and race in the air. I like to make sure I do at least a minimum number of decks each day, so that's why I so I don't fall behind in what's in the queue. Stupid filter lands. We are in match 4 right now. We are currently 2-1. So I can Inquisition them to force them to bolt me or one of my spirit tokens, but I think if I don't Inquisition them, they're just going to sit on the bolt for a little bit, so I'm going to hold the Inquisition for now. Really? Okay, sure. Kind of surprised at that. I guess they're winning the race with that removal spell. So that makes a little bit of sense. Coming down to top decks here. Like, a lot of decks don't top deck that well against John, but our deck has some real bombs in it. Between Obzedat and Elesh, Norn, and Gifts Ungiven. And even just Snapcaster Mage at this point is a pretty good one. The deck lists are linked in my deck queue, which you can find on my website. I don't know the answer offhand to that question. I look at a lot of deck lists every day, believe it or not. The old Edict your 1/1, gain 1 on the Liliana. Powerful mode. Powerful mode. Oh, we're going to be chump blocking with these spirit tokens soon. They are. Opponents' decisions have them solidly winning the race here. So if we both keep drawing bricks, they're going to be in a good spot. I'm going down to 9 here, and I'm actually going to fetch to 8. That does take a turn off their clock, but getting a second blue source into play here is valuable, especially if I draw a Snapcaster Mage. I don't want to have to, like, fetch shock if I draw Snapcaster Mage next turn. Well, that's a very good draw. Unfortunate. So what's the nuts here? The nut draw is, like, we draw Discovery and we bin Elesh Norn, and then we get to Unburial Rites it. That is the opposite of the best draw. So, going to start chump blocking this turn. Generally speaking, you want to be chump blocking the turn before you die. So that way they don't take that option away from you when you're close to death. Everything went to poop so quickly. This game's actually been a great example of why you board out discard spells in matches like this. Because these games often come down to top deck races like this, and like drawing a discard spell is just like real miserable. All right, we could draw Elesh Norn, or we could Discovery and bin Elesh Norn. Either of those are outs. Another land. That's pretty close too. Good stuff. Good stuff. To bring in a bunch of ways to interact with the board. I don't think this is a negate counter squall matchup, so I'm going to leave in these Inquisitions, even though they're not great. They're probably better than negate and counter squall. I don't know. I guess negate and counter squall stop their... Nah, I'm just going to leave the Inquisitions in, because the Inquisitions take their threats away, which I think is the most important part of what's going on here. Yeah, I mean, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Magic's game's got a lot of variance packed into it. The Goryo's Vengeance art is interesting. I'm almost a little disappointed they didn't, like, depict Gristlebrand in it, like they depicted Emrakul on the Through the Breach art. Just went to fast forward, YouTube has ruined me. Oh, YouTube. I mean, this hand's very reasonable. It's got lands to cast any spells that we draw, and I get to play a discard spell on turn 1. The Fetid Heath is a Fetid Heath because the casting cost on Obzedat is very color intensive. I'm going to take Inquisition just because it doesn't let them have a play on 1. You have 2 threats that I need to answer, which feels a little bit bad here. I need to draw another discard spell or removal spell. I think Inquisition tends to be a little bit better than Thoughtseize in this matchup, even though Thoughtseize can take Bloodbraid Elf, because a lot of the times you're not going to be taking Bloodbraid Elf, and the health total cost is very real. We're the control deck in this matchup, and as the game goes long, we don't want to risk getting burned out, and casting Thoughtseizes increases the chance that that happens. If they play Bob here, we have no choice but to push him off a cliff. If they play Scavenging Ooze, I probably need to push that too, and just like hope to God bless America. Oh, discard spells. Discard spells, discard spells, discard spells. And that's the toughest part about one of the toughest parts about Modern, in my opinion, is that even the fair decks in Modern tend to generate kind of like meh gameplay patterns. Discard spells are a game design that I don't particularly enjoy as a player, because discard spells serve only to take choices away from the opponent as opposed to providing both players with meaningful decisions. They kind of limit what both players are able to do. Not a lot of play and counterplay to them. And the problem is, like, the discard spells like Inquisition and Thoughtseize, like, the other decks that exist in Modern are, like, so obnoxious and offensive that, like, you have to play cards like Inquisition and Thoughtseize to be competitive against them, because all the other disruption that exists is just, like... Well, land destruction, especially land destruction in the current Magic the Gathering formats, is different because land destruction is incredibly inefficient. So, like, take Stone Rain, for instance, right? Like, Stone Rain is very, very different. It's 3 mana versus 1 mana for Thoughtseize. You have the queue integrated to your website. bit.ly/deck queue gets you to the queue on my website. Bitly charges you significantly large amounts of money to change where a Bitly redirects to. You have to have, like, a corporate business account with them. Yeah, blackmail is an example of a really well-designed discard spell, because blackmail is a card that enables both players to make meaningful decisions, whereas these discard spells serve to only take choices away from one of the two people playing the game. I assume this Surgical is being cast here because it's their only spell that costs less than 4 mana in their hand. So I'm just not going to get to take anything with this this Inquisition. That being said, forcing the Surgical out of their hand here is, like, good for us, because I'm going to get to Gifts Ungiven and put some things into play next turn. Blackmail predates both Inquisition and Thoughtseize, right? Wow, that's an incredibly aggressive Surgical. I think that Surgical Extraction is pretty wrong. Like, taking my Fatal Pushes away is, like, not particularly great here. Alright, so they get to Bloodbraid Elf into something here, and then I get to put Elesh Norn into play next turn. So my Gifts Ungiven is going to get Elesh Norn plus Gristlebrand, and then we'll Unburial Rites the Elesh Norn first to kill both their creatures. Yeah, Onslaught sounds right. Man, that's brutal. Well, we went from... Oh, I can gifts for 3 things. That's a good idea. I can gifts for 4 things, right, actually? Alright, they're actually just not making us discard. Deal. It's really weird. They have an Inquisition of Kozilek in their hand. I feel like they shouldn't mind discarding Inquisition here. Ghost Dad can't be edicted, but I'd rather just get Elesh Norn here to take their Dark Confidant off the table. Need to stop them from drawing cards. So they'll Edict this Elesh Norn. They'll take the Jace out of our hand. I will put Gristlebrand into play and draw 7 next turn. Most like skip our way to the bank. Don't you dare cast Scavenging Ooze. Don't you do it. Deal. Rude. I guess I just get back Elesh Norn now. Do I just get back Elesh Norn? Nope. Not a snowball's chance in hell do I get back Elesh Norn. That one. One little piggy went wee all the way home. Your move, Yuki boy. That's all I got. It's kind of sad that we had low viewer counts today for these modern decks because these are probably 2 of the best modern leagues we've played in a long time. Do I still play any Hearthstone? I do not. I've been playing mostly Warhammer, the Warhammer TCG as my mobile card game lately. Keep doing what you do, Sarnak. Thank you for the 2-on-3 sub. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. What happened to Hex? Hex ran out of money. But Hex also is never a mobile card game, which honestly was probably part of the reason they ran out of money. I mean, Hex isn't dead. It's just the lights are on, but nobody's home. How is the Warhammer rank system? That seems fine. I don't really play enough to climb too high in their ranks. It's like my casual for fun game. I like play a game here and there on my tablet. I play it a lot at the gym. It's a good, like, walking on the treadmill game for me. What's happening with Artifact? Well, Artifact is a game with a... Artifact has a niche game design and a niche card acquisition model. Artifact basically alienated their player base in every possible way they can alienate their player base. And then they had some balance issues on top of that. They, like, had a year-long closed beta and didn't actually use it to balance their game, apparently. Which is, like, really embarrassing. Yeah, exactly, Div. There's no more content coming for the game, but the servers are still running. It's really sad. Like, if Hex had been designed by Valve and, like, had Valve money, it probably would have been pretty successful. But, like, Artifact as a game is just still kind of medium right now. Yeah, Hex had a single player mode. Yeah, I agree, Edmain. They messed up a lot of the details. Which is one of the things they really got right. It really shows, like, Valve's a software company because, like, the actual client for Artifact is really slick and, like, the in-game tournament modes that you can put up are really awesome. Yeah, I definitely think, like, you know, when an Artifact releases their second set, or, like, after they do a couple more balance patches, I actually have a full playset of every Artifact card from the first set, because it's, like, less than $100 to get a full playset for stuff. So it's like, Valve might unmess this up, and I might want to play it at some point in the future. Yeah, believe it or not, putting an advertisement inside of their own game for one of their other games isn't spending advertising dollars. That's just something that they get to do. Yeah, like if Magic Arena had the software aspects of Artifact, it would just be like the instant titan of the esports world as far as card games are concerned. That being said, even without all of the software details of Artifact, like, Arena's still pretty reasonable, and they seem like they'll get there eventually. It's just like, WotC's not a software company, so it takes them a little bit longer to get these things right. Yeah, when nobody wants to play your game, it's really cheap meta. Games are really cheap when nobody wants to play them. That's true, Admain. I definitely prefer Arena's card acquisition model. There's actually a website that tracks their API in real time. It is currently $96.41 to buy 1 of every hero and then 3 of every other card and artifact, according to their market. $96. I ended up spending like $200 to get everything, so I bought some cards early while they were more expensive. Yeah, those are like efficiency things though, Nyan. Yeah, it's $96 for playsets of every card in the game. But remember, they only have 1 set too, right? So like, it's $96 for 1 set. This could be a hard cast Crystal Brand game. Because rares make up the cost of most of the cards in the game, just like Magic. I tried really hard to like Artifact. The gameplay's just not for me. And the gameplay, how it currently is, just doesn't click for me. I like, what was it? It was like last week or the week before. It was the week before, because it was before we moved. I like sat down like 3 nights in a row. I was like, all right, I'm gonna make myself play 3 games of Artifact. And like, I played through the first 2, and I was just like halfway into the 3rd, and I was just like, this game is boring. I just like was sitting there like, I was like, I'm just not having fun. I'll try this again tomorrow. To be fair, Isabus, if Artifact was doing well and was popular, it would probably cost very similar to what it costs in Magic Arena to have a full set. They are ramping us into Grizzled Eddie here, which is nice. Okay, Path to Exile's not a bad hit, because it means if they fire up this Raging Ravine next turn, we have a way to interact with it. So we don't know any of the cards in their hand right now. The Lantern control analogy is perfect for Artifact. I agree with that. And for those who aren't familiar with what we mean by that, one of my buddies, actually a sub here, Bob and Cheese 2, he described Artifact as playing Artifact is like every game is playing Lantern control. All of your decisions are complicated, but 95% of them don't matter, and you just end up feeling bored and can't figure out which are the 5% that actually do. I agree, Subaz. I like the economy in Arena a lot, and the fact they're finally addressing the 5th card issue will do a lot for the game. Liliana here is a big hit. That was a different game. So that is Epic Digital, which Epic Digital is another one of those. They're a game company, not a software company. So like, they've just like fumbled their thing and not actually finished it. They were one of the Kickstarter ones. Sounds good, Karma. I usually respond to decklist posts after I'm done streaming, but I'm running late today, so I might not do it till tomorrow morning. Yeah, the gameplay on Keyforge is actually a lot of fun, but I'm not a huge fan of the card acquisition model in Keyforge. I might pick up a couple of Keyforge decks to play casually, though. Could be okay. Yeah, I agree. I think if Keyforge tries to do anything remotely competitive with meaningful prizes for their constructed, the market for decks that are good is going to get out of control very quickly. Alright, so I need to get 4 cards here, all of which I'm happy drawing. So Obzedat's definitely on that list. I think Lingering Souls is on that list. And then I think Fatal Push and Path to Exile are on that list. Especially since I have this path here. I wish I had a way to take Liliana off the table, but I don't. I guess I could put lands in here, that's true. I don't know, I feel like there's a chance they might give me both threats here, so they can hit me with the Raging Ravine. They also might do the inverse, though, and just give me both removal spells. Sweet. So the fact that I had this path here just makes that Gifts really great for us. Because this happens now. Because they thought maybe they could race my things by me not being able to remove their thing from play. That was fantastic. So the sequencing here in our removal spell and our gifts is very important. Because there's like a 0% chance they give us the threats if they know we have the Path to Exile. Now, it's not really stealing that many viewers, Unlucky. The viewer count for Magic the Gathering Online is like really low on average. Like what was, I can actually tell you, like what my average viewer count for yesterday's stream, for example, was only, what are we at? Oh, that's for today's. The average viewer count for yesterday's stream was just like barely 800 people, which is slightly higher than today, but not by a lot. Sure. That's only a 4/5, so hopefully their last card in hand doesn't kill Obzedat. What's going on, Union Private? I agree, Extras. Storm, one of the most offensive things Storm does, in my opinion, is the fact that it takes an incredibly interesting card like Liliana, like Gifts Ungiven, and just makes it this mindless modern card that kills people. This lets Liliana edict one of these spirits away, but I think that's fine. What decks am I most excited to try in New Standard? I actually published an article today with some of my favorites. You check that out on Cool Stuff Inc. So there's like 35 standard decks in the deck queue, and I posted my 5 favorites and talked about them on Cool Stuff Inc. Sweet. So we are super far ahead here at this point. Obzedat's going to come in, drain them to 8. I'm going to be conservative here and have Obzedat kill Liliana, because if my opponent draws a way to kill Obzedat next turn, I'll be very sad and probably lose the game. So let's go ahead and just kill Liliana here. Especially like only being 1 land away from casting Gristlebrand. I think being conservative here is super correct. Yeah, I think there's a few decks like that just like, this deck gets significantly better by just getting better mana. Black-Red Pirates is one of those decks too. Alright, so if they get hit by this, they're dead, because he's going to exile and then kill them on the next upkeep. This game was a great example. Someone commented earlier that they felt if we were playing a graveyard strategy that didn't have a better combo than this, it wasn't worth playing. And this game was a great example of, like, why we're playing Obzedats instead of just, like, a bunch of Gristlebrands, right? Because, like, being able to realistically cast our 5-mana creature that's one of our graveyard value pieces is, like, a super real plan. And, like, while it didn't come up that game, some of the time when you're, like, under a Rest in Peace or a Leyline, you can just, like, use Jace Fringe Prodigy to, like, loot away your Goryo's Vengeances and stuff like that. Dredge ended up 3-2. We ended up losing the last game because we didn't have Narcomoebas to block, which was a little unfortunate, but I think not having Narcomoeba in that list was a mistake. Stream good, have money. Is it Statistician? Thank you for re-upping your Twitch Prime. Welcome back. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Man, we cashed 2 Modern Leagues in a row. This was like the best day ever. And it's been a long time since we did that. No problem. I think your command name is good too. Let's make it so that one works as well. It was a very unique Dredge build. It's definitely, if you are a fan of Dredge or if you just like sweet new ideas in Modern, it's definitely worth a watch. Seems really reasonable. Doesn't have a threat in it, but it's got plenty of meaningful disruption here. Have a good one back now. Yep, yeah, I'll be live about 10 a.m. tomorrow. I am going to be starting late because I'm not going to do Magic Online before I stream Arena tomorrow. I thought I might, but I've decided against it. I think I'm going to go a little bit late tonight. Put up Mulligan to 6 and played Colonnade. Let's put them under duress. What would my preferred starting point be for Postmodern? I actually wrote about that in one of my articles very recently, but it would be Excellent, I think. Would be my current pick. Hieroglyphic Illumination. So I'm going to go ahead and take Teferi here, and then I'm probably going to Collective Brutality next turn and take Hieroglyphic Illumination away. Yeah, we are just starting the 5th match of this league. We're currently 3-1. I forgot how long it takes to play Modern Leagues when we play decks that don't just die. It's like 2 2-hour leagues in a row. Do you know what time the patch on Arena drops tomorrow? Yeah, 8 a.m. PST. Actual game client aside, yeah, standard is my favorite format. Not close. This current standard format is the best format of Magic I have ever played. Hopefully this new set makes it better and doesn't put in a dumpster fire. Kind of getting punished here for not leading on Inquisition. Because, like, by the time I cast this Inquisition, I might not be able to take anything meaningful. Yeah, I doubt so, too. Yeah, the plan is basically just, like, have Elesh Norn or, like, a bunch of spot removal spells. The problem with putting 4-mana sweepers in this archetype is that, like, between Gifts Ungiven and the Obzedat and your big creatures, you just have so many, expensive spells already that you just get too clunky when you put sweepers in your deck. Amulet Titan's a non-dual tutor deck, that's true. Amulet Titan's very, very good in general. Well, getting Gristlebrand into play, they have 2 shots to draw a counterspell here. I guess 3, 2, no, they have this draw step and the next draw step. Next turn, we're going to Gifts Ungiven for Unburial Rites plus Gristlebrand, and then put the pig into play and draw a bunch of cards. I think I'm going to go ahead and path this. Just like, if my plan is to go on the Gristlebrand route, my health total is a valuable resource because it lets me draw more cards, so I might as well keep it high. I am super excited for the Bant Flash deck. If the Bant Flash deck feels close to playable, I'm probably going to go to Indy if the weather is good. If the Bant deck feels playable and the weather is good, I'm going to Indy to play the Week 1 Open, I think. That deck is just everything I want to be doing in Magic the Gathering. Will Standard Drake still be good? Yeah, probably. Mystic Snake. Frilled, the Lizard Wizard. You can find my favorite decks I'm excited to play in Standard in my article on Cool Stuff Inc. today. There's like 30 different awesome decks in the queue, but my 5 favorites are my article today. I was like, where'd my Unburial Rites go? Yeah, sure, they can hardcast Terminus, but if they hardcast Terminus, I've already drawn 14 cards, so we're gonna be okay. Nice, Crimson. Yeah, Arena's a lot of fun. It's very well done. I don't think I have another basic swamp in my deck, do I? Oh, I do. Sweet. What you working with? Double Terminus Supreme Verdict. All right, well, we'll take the one you can cast. I guess we're, like, hoping they draw a counterspell here. What am I getting rid of? Probably Elesh Norn? Probably Elesh Norn. I guess if I discard Obzedat, I could Goryo's Vengeance him in next turn. This is just, like, one of the most incredibly difficult questions I've ever had to ask myself. Do I want to draw 7 cards? I actually think the answer is no. Because, like, so what? Like, next turn, I'm going to play a land, play Obzedat. That puts me to 15 cards out of 13. I have to discard, like, 6 cards. Yeah, I'll die to the Colonnade. Let's not. Let's not say we did. I think I messed up what I discarded last turn, and I should have discarded the Obzedat. That being said, this doesn't die to Celestial Colonnade, so you got that going for it. Or this doesn't die to Terminus, I mean. Oh, I should have played the fetch land to fetch a shock land out of my deck and shuffle the Gristlebrand back in. Small sequencing mistake on my part there. What animation am I looking forward to seeing the most? The Angels seem to have really awesome animations. Mardu Mancer with the brand new tier 1 sub. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Welcome. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Gifts for discard spells. I've already played my Duress. I guess I could get Collective Brutality with it. Yeah, maybe the line is gifts for discard spells at end of turn here. I already have Snapcaster Mage though. So I could gifts and get like Thoughtseize, Inquisition, Collective Brutality. I think I'm definitely casting a value gifts here. The question is what exactly I'm getting. They have Terminus plus 1 card I don't know. Wow, they drew another Cryptic Command. That's pretty good. I could Goryo's back Jason and that's true. That's true. That's a good line. It's a good line. We're gonna do that this turn now. It's gonna be okay. Thank you for pointing that out. A plus suggestion. Yep. And then Jace flips, flashes back Goryo's Vengeance, gets Elesh Norn, kills them. I feel like this matchup has to get much better for us post-board than it gets for them, because I get to, like, cut a bunch of really terrible removal spells and, like, bring in a bunch of counter spells. Just, like, Path to Exile goes away. Elesh Norn goes away. I think I want to keep a couple Fatal Pushes for their Colonnades. That's probably not even true. This seems good. Iona's not really a game winner. They can bounce her with Cryptic Command, and they can kill her with Path to Exile and Terminus. So regardless of which color we name, we don't get a good. We're not very good here. Yeah, I think Inquisition is fine. Yeah, Disenchant for Rest in Peace seems okay. Yeah, I like that suggestion. I think I should probably have a Detention Sphere in my 75 somewhere. Good flexible answer that like takes Graveyard Hate off the table. Yeah, D-Sphere's like a really great flexible card in this archetype because it takes Graveyard Hate off the table, but like it's not a dead draw when they don't have their Graveyard Hate. I almost put one in the sideboard and I settled on the Timely, and like the game matches we played in this league, D-Sphere definitely would have been better. I'm glad we had two good Modern Leagues in a row today. The last couple we've played have been rough. That kind of reinforces my idea that I just need to like be more restrictive on the modern decks that I accept. It's definitely much easier to be upbeat and chipper playing modern, where we're not just like getting mono stuffed. Like actually have a fighting chance. I think the health cost and Anguish Unmaking is a little bit too high. So, like, I could wait to play this until I have Dispel up. But if they path this, I'm kind of happy with that. This op sequencing is weird. This op sequencing says to me that they don't have Terminus in their deck anymore. Getting Spell Snare there feels a little bit bad, because I was playing the Jace out without the Dispel protection because I didn't care if it got pathed, because if we got ramped, we could use that mana well. The fact that we haven't gotten Rest in Peace yet feels real good, though. Just get to keep using our graveyard as a resource. So both the discard on both the sequencing of the opt and the negate on the Lingering Souls makes me feel like this turn's about to be absurd, by the way. We're gonna Goryo's the Jace, ditch the Obzedat, flashback the Goryo's Vengeance on the Obzedat, kill their Jace. This turn's about to be the Stones. When this deck gets to do things like this, it's just like, yeah, this is great. Let's do it. This is why we're playing this deck, to do things like this. It's a pretty good turn 4. You believe they unbanned Jace the Mind Sculptor? Just ruined Modern. Can't possibly unban more cards in Modern. Every time you unban a powerful Magic card, the format just gets ruined. Remember, when you stack your triggers at the end, you want to stack it so Goryo's Vengeance triggers go on the stack first, so they resolve second, so Obzedat can exile himself so he can come back next turn. Ruined. Yeah, like, our deck has Hallowed Fountain in it, but we're not playing a Hallowed Fountain deck. If that makes sense. Alright, so is this an end step Gifts turn, or is it a Lingering Souls turn? I think I want to just end step Gifts, because if they don't get to use their mana this turn, that seems like a real win for me. Huh. Sure. Is this a value Gifts? I don't know, actually. I kind of feel like it could just be a Gristlebrand Gifts. Like, Gristlebrand Gifts is kind of a value Gifts, right? What do you recommend for me for a not aggro, funny, and competitive deck for Modern? I'd recommend taking a look at the deck list on my website and the high potential and proven section and find one that tickles your fancy. This is a concession Gifts, or is Moto locked up? I can't tell if they're conceding or if Moto has crashed from opening my library. All right, they've conceded. It's not Moto. I got the screenshot. I got the screenshot of the Teferi thought that's here. Just Moto things. We're gonna tweet that one. I'm glad I snipped it soon. Would $50 dues be enough to play Ponza, but Godo Bandit Warlord is in it? Sure. I know the Ponza view will get a lot of views. Guess what? This was a genuinely good set. This deck, we had a lot of sweet turns with this deck. So the person who submitted this archetype, they had one request. They said I had to keep Goryo's Vengeance, Jace, and Gristlebrand. And previously, I wasn't a huge fan of Gristlebrand in this archetype, but I'm really glad that they told us to keep it today. The Gristlebrand was really good on more than one occasion. This card, like, really buried the fair decks in a way that, like, Elesh, Norn, and Iona just can't. Like, both Elesh, Norn, and Iona leave a little bit to be desired against, like, decks like Jund and Blue-White Control, whereas Gristlebrand just like, yo, dog, have a hit for 7. Maybe attack and give you 7 more. It's just, like, very, very good. I feel like I was content with Discovery. I'm not gonna say it's good, but I feel like I was content with it. Someone just asked, is it better than Chart a Course? I don't know. I think we cast Discovery without a blue source at least once that league. And like I have, how many lands do I have that don't make blue mana? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have 16 blue sources. I have like 7 lands that don't make blue mana, so like being easier to cast is like a real consideration too. I could definitely see 4 discoveries maybe being too many. Like, I felt like I wanted to get a D-Sphere in the sideboard, so like an easy way to do that is like slide this 3rd Brutality into the main, cut a discovery, and then put a D-Sphere on the board. Is probably what I do. I think that would probably be it. It was Obzedat, Gristle, and Goryos. Yeah. And thank you for the donation, Mashi. Hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't catch all of it, it'll be on YouTube later tonight. We're gonna do at least one more league here. This is normally about the time that I end, but I started late because